Hey, Todd Brown here from marketingfunnelautomation.com, and I've got something really cool that I want to show you in this video. There's nothing for sale, nothing being pitched or anything like that, but I want to show you something that I call advanced credibility leverage. You're actually going to see three different examples of three different promotions from some big direct mail companies, and you're going to see an advanced method that they use to borrow massive credibility for their big idea, for their big marketing idea. And I want you to notice how this method that they use to borrow tremendous credibility, it just transforms the marketing promotion. It can totally take an average, mundane marketing campaign, marketing funnel promotion and transform it into just a tremendous powerhouse. And so I'm going to go through these examples very quickly and then also very quickly tell you how you can actually do this for your own marketing promotions. But check out how they borrow just massive credibility. Let's go take a look at the first example. So this is actually a kind of like a it's what's called a magalog. It's a direct mail piece. You can't see the whole piece. This is just the top of the cover. And the first thing that I want you to notice is the headline. Now this piece is selling a vitamin supplement for digestive health called Florasource, and it's a product that helps with the growth and maintenance of the healthy bacteria in your intestinal tract. And so take a look at the headline. The headline says, "Doctor who won a Nobel Prize accidentally discovers a miraculous medically proven remedy that helps your digestive system work like a dream. Doctors recommend it." And so the first thing that I want you to notice is they're able to leverage this doctor who won a Nobel Prize. Now, on the surface, for the average marketer, the average marketer looks at this and probably thinks to themselves, as I used to, that, wow, this company either hired a doctor who won a Nobel Prize or has a doctor on staff that won a Nobel Prize, but wow, that's awesome. It would be awesome if we had a supplement company and we were able to have a doctor on staff, or we were able to pay a doctor or hire a doctor, whatever, that won the Nobel Prize, right? Well, you're going to see in a second that that's far from the case. The other thing that I want you to notice is that they've got this picture of the doctor over here. This doctor happens to be the staff or in-house doctor, one of them for this particular company. And you can see down here, that they're kind of quoting this doctor. And this picture over here with this doctor's name makes you feel like this is the doctor who won the Nobel Prize. Well, that's not the case. If we had this full marketing piece in front of us right now, what I'd be able to show you is that later on in this marketing piece, they talk about a doctor, another doctor, not this doctor, who won the Nobel Prize for the doctor's research in intestinal health, and if I remember correctly, it was for the role that bacteria in the intestinal tract plays in intestinal health. Well, the thing that I want you to understand is that this doctor who won the Nobel Prize that they're mentioning in their headline, that's giving them massive credibility, simply was a doctor that they found out about through research. And that doctor's research about bacteria and the positive role that bacteria plays in your intestinal tract was a great fit for this promotion because their supplement happens to boost and maintain that same healthy bacteria. So what I want you to understand here, what I really want you to grasp is that while the copywriter was doing the research for this particular marketing campaign, for this particular marketing piece, is they came across research by a doctor who happened to win the Nobel Prize, and that research backed up their supplement. And that research allowed them to talk about it in the headline and gain massive credibility, right? So get that. This doctor who won the Nobel Prize doesn't work for the company. The company's not paying them. They're able to mention this research over here, talk about this research, explain it later on, and gain massive credibility from it right in the headline and gain massive support for their product over here. And by putting the doctor's picture right up here, they get credibility from having the picture of the doctor, and you immediately think that that doctor is the same doctor who won the Nobel Prize. Just incredibly savvy, incredibly slick, and totally ethical. And so great example of how to borrow massive credibility and use it. Let's go on to another example. Here's an example of this is the top of a marketing piece, a space ad for a financial, it's a financial product, a financial newsletter, if you will. And so what I want you to notice here is that same thing. This financial newsletter is not from this top security advisor to the Pentagon. The company who's putting out this financial newsletter hasn't hired this gentleman. This gentleman doesn't work for them. He's not on staff or anything like that. But obviously, the copywriter, through their research, found that this gentleman right here, talked about how the biggest threat to America, or what he called an economic Pearl Harbor, and really I'm going to explain this in 1 second, but this individual, this top security advisor to the Pentagon, to this top security advisor to the CIA, this top security advisor to the Department of Defense, and the director of national, the national intelligence, issues a dire prediction, right? This is something that this gentleman said. And what he was referring to was that the biggest threat to America is the financial collapse of the economy, right? How the economy is going to collapse and how you need to protect your money. It's not from terrorists. It's not going to come from the Middle East. It's not going to come from anything like that. The biggest threat to America is this financial issue. And so what I want you to see right here is that this company that was promoting a financial newsletter about investing, through their research, was able to find a highly credible individual. And this individual, being that he was this, he's this top security advisor, they were able to build their entire big idea around something he said. And then through talking about that, they were able to segue into their offer for their financial newsletter. Right? It's kind of like saying, if, this individual could have said the biggest threat to the United States is obesity, let's say hypothetically. And then if we were selling a diet book, a diet product, a diet course, we could have leveraged something that he said and then segued right into it, gaining massive credibility. This gentleman happens to fit with this whole financial market, but you get the point. The point is that through their research, they were able to uncover something that this gentleman said, massive credibility from this guy, leverage this credibility, and then segue into their offer. And one more example for you, and this is also for a financial newsletter, a different financial newsletter. But what they're doing right here is they are borrowing credibility from Warren Buffett, one of the most respected, if not the most respected investor in the world. And they talk about here how Warren Buffett prepares for a financial storm. Now, this one is a little bit more bold. I'm not an attorney, and I would advise that you check with an attorney when it comes to using, using someone's name, using their image actually on your product. But this isn't coming from Warren Buffett. This isn't something that's necessarily endorsed from Warren Buffett. What they're doing right here is they are leveraging news about Warren Buffett's predictions with investments, the moves that he's making with his investments, and they are leveraging that. So, for example, if this company that's putting out this financial newsletter, if they recommended this Burlington Northern, let's just say, well, now through their research, if they found that Warren Buffett just bought this, what a great way to gain massive credibility, to borrow massive credibility from Warren Buffett, right? By talking about that that he just bought this same stock. Again, these are things that come out through your research. This is why, if you've been around me for any significant length of time, if you've been a reader of this blog for any significant length of time, if you've seen me speak anywhere, been to any webinars or teleseminars or anything like that, and you've heard me talk about how the time of just spewing out big benefits, big promises, a lot of hype that you see online, those days are long gone. You cannot get away with that anymore. And it's why you need a big idea behind your marketing campaign, a big idea to grab your prospects' attention, a big idea to prevent that mental opt-out, to make sure that prospects don't come to your squeeze page, your sales letter, your video sales letter, and say, I've heard that before, I've seen that before. And what I've just showed you are 3 examples, all using the same exact technique of how you can incorporate massive credibility by borrowing it into your big idea. And you're able to find these little nuggets through your initial research about your product, about your pitch, about what it is that you're going to talk about, your, as we call it in the MFA program, your education-based marketing content. And so there you go. How to do some advanced credibility leveraging for your marketing. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon.